you want to know my opinion on what I think, just keep on watching. Hey guys, what's good? It's your girl Nisi here and I'm back with a new video. And guys, why? Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, I'm gonna need you to come to the front because I was not ready for this documentary. So if you don't know what I'm talking about the Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call it, The Reckoning documentary on Netflix. Guys, when I say, listen, he ate and left no crumbs. Like, the documentary was so good, very detailed footage that has never been seen or never been heard before. Very telling. Just shout out to 50 in it, because when this whole P Diddy getting arrested of the assault and then the whole Rico case and all that madness, 50 came out and he was like, I'm gonna do a doc. But we all thought he was trolling. If you don't know anything about 50 Cent, he's come from gangster to rapper to the biggest troll on Instagram. He's always trolling other celebrities. So a lot of us didn't take it seriously. I was just like, yeah. Or if he was gonna do a documentary, I thought it would just be like an hour long, 2 hours. But this guy did a 4-part connection with Netflix very detailed documentary on Puff Daddy from the beginning to where he's at now. And shout out to all the survivors and all the people that were part of Bad Boy or people were there from the beginning, just hearing his upbringing. Like, when I say it's very detailed, it's very detailed. There will be some spoilers, so if you've not seen it, watch the documentary and do come back to this video. But wow, I'm amazed. Well done. Shout out to 50. Listen, anything when it comes to TV and shows, 50, he's got it on lock. I was impressed. I learnt new information. I hate when I watch a documentary, it could have been about Tupac, Biggie, and you don't learn nothing new. Like the films, the Biggie movie, the Tupac movie, I didn't learn anything new. So shout out to 50 because I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know before. And listen, P. Diddy's upbringing, his mama, yeah, she needs to be thrown in jail too because, yo, from the beatings, anything, like, if you're black community, we get beaten it, but the way they describe what she said do to him, having him around pimps, gangsters, sex party, like, and we wonder why he is the way he is now. And obviously, there's that saying, hurt people hurt people. He lost his dad, I think he was like 5 years old, so he doesn't really remember him. There wasn't a male in the house to bring him up. Obviously, there was a male, there was neighbors. Again, the mom had friends, there was people around, but still wasn't that father figure. And then they wonder why he is the way he is now. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, guys, let's get into some people's, let's jump straight into it. Let's get into some people's reactions.
The Diddy docuseries produced by 50 Cent just dropped on Netflix, and all you need to know is that 50 Cent has more receipts on Diddy than the literal FBI. And when I say he has receipts, I'm talking about 30-year-old, never before seen videos and audio recordings from Biggie, Tupac, and one of the craziest recordings that's never been heard before from one of Diddy's LA associates that tells the police what he claims really happened the night that Tupac passed away. The first 2 episodes aren't even about his trial or allegations, they're just about how bad of a person Sean Combs is, and his involvement with Tupac, Biggie, and their death. And the biggest takeaway was that Diddy was a very jealous and envious person who so badly wanted to be that guy. Even as a 19-year-old intern at Uptown Records, he would go after the biggest artist, Al B. Shore's girlfriend, Kim Porter. He always wanted to be the biggest guy and wanted what all the biggest artists had, which makes so much sense on why he was so jealous of Tupac. Because Tupac was everything that Diddy wasn't and what he so badly wanted to be, and what made him even more jealous was the connection that Tupac had with Biggie. Believe it or not, Tupac and Biggie had a good relationship early on. Tupac loved Biggie's first album, and Biggie loved everything that Tupac stood for. And they were becoming good friends, so Diddy, being the control freak he was, wanted to intervene and start working with Tupac. But Tupac refused. He didn't care about working with Diddy and only wanted to work with Biggie. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I could make a part 2 explaining further, but I think you should check it out for yourself because the first 2 episodes were extremely interesting. There's never before seen footage, and I think it's a must watch if you're into the 90s hip-hop.
Destiny swapping is real, and I really need y'all to watch this Diddy documentary to understand what I'm about to explain. Diddy performed three major Destiny swaps, and they pretty much outlined it in this documentary. The first one was with Heavy D, the second one was with Andre Harrell, and the third one was with Notorious B.I.G. Now, I think in the documentary they explain that Diddy grew up in the same neighborhood as Heavy D, and he was just always around and wanted to be, just in the mix. And he said that Diddy would go to Heavy D's house every day and beg him to meet Andre Harrell. Boom. Eventually, he does introduce him to Andre, and eventually he becomes, well, they explain how Diddy became very valuable to Andre. He basically worked his ass off, did anything, did not sleep, did anything this man asked him for. He made himself extremely valuable, which is why Andre gave him an internship. But then student became teacher, and he eventually, y'all have to watch the documentary. I know a lot of old heads will know what happened, but they really went through a fine tooth comb and explained what happened. But basically, Diddy became bigger than Andre. After Andre fired him, he started Bad Boy and just blew up. They were like, you can take Biggie with you from Uptown, and then he started working on Biggie. And he destiny swapped with him. Like, it's just like watching this documentary. I learned some new things.
Yeah, guys, so that's just a quick breakdown of the first two episodes. So the first one's about his life, and like you said, 30 years of footage and footage we've never seen or heard before. So again, shout out to 50, because you know what I mean? Who would have thought he could do this, pull this off? And I want to say the second one jumps into Biggie and the whole Tupac. And it's sad. It's really sad. Tupac loved Bigger. They were friends. Again, like he said, he was very, very jealous of their friendship and their bond. Puffy wanted to work with Tupac, and Tupac was like, nah, like Tupac, I feel like Tupac felt about Big Puffy is how I felt. You know, when you just can't get with someone, like it's their spirit, you just can't get with them, but you can't explain why. I've never liked Puff from early. When Suge Knight was at the Source Awards and he's like, if you don't want the executive producer dancing all in the video, like I never understood why Puffy was just always in the videos and just always there, like move. You know what I mean? You're not the talent. Biggie was the talent. Craig Mack was the talent. Like Mace was the talent. Black Rob, like he was just always there. It's just annoying. But yeah, Puffy, he was jealous, talentless, insecure. He destiny swapped. Oh yeah, so sorry. In the first one, it was about his upbringing and him, getting into the whole music industry. So he started working with Albie Shaw, Heavy D. So they were popping, they were big. This guy out of nowhere, because again, no one was checking for him, Kim Porter. No one was checking for Puffy in it basically. I'm watching this year and how he's bigger than everyone that was at this record label. He destiny swapped. You can't tell me he did not destiny swap with Albie Shaw. Albie Shaw was speaking in this documentary. He was like, I was the first one on the record label to go platinum, the first one to go number one. No shade now. When you think of Albie Shaw, you either say he's Quincy's dad or he's Kim Porter's ex. Like you don't really think of Albie Shaw for being the artist. You know what I mean? So he definitely destiny swaps. No one can't tell me nothing. And Kim Porter was working there, but she was working as a receptionist. And at that time, she was with Albie Shaw. Puffy was always pestering her, da 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 da. And he said to his boy, one day she's gonna be mine. And look, lo and behold, he had 3 kids with her. Never married her, abused her, allegedly. But when I say there's power in the tongue and manifestation, it's real. He called it out from early, from when she was with Albie Shaw. He was like, she's gonna be mine. He's just a vampire. Shout out to Lovelace. He's always called him an energy vampire, but he's just a taker. He takes from everyone. He started smashing Suge Knight's side thing in Atlanta just because she was down with Suge Knight. Chance, his daughter, her mum was with Tupac for a bit before he became Puffy's baby mom. Like he always just seemed to go after men's women that he wanted to be around. So he wanted to be around Suge, he wanted to be around Tupac. I'll be sure like any man that was popping, because again, no one was checking for Puff. He always ended up being with their women from either sleeping with them or having kids with. It's weird. bare destiny swapping. That's why Puffy's up here, well, was up here, and Tupac Biggie had passed, Shug's in jail, I'll be sure's just out here. You know what I mean? Like it's funny how a lot of people are deceased or in jail, but yet before he got taken down, Puffy was up. Like he did so much destiny swapping, you can't tell me. But yeah, the guy's pure evil. Like watching this, he's a menace to society. He needs to be locked up for 50 years, not for 50 months. I did do a video when he, the whole sentencing and people's reactions. So if you've not seen it, do check it out. I'll link it at the end of this video. But yo, watch this documentary. It's a good one. Shout out to Netflix. P. Diddy's team have sent a decent desist. No surprise in there. But the thing with 50 Cent, I know all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. So I'm not worried. But just in case it does get pulled down off Netflix, watch it, guys. Watch it. Because, it might be here this week and then next week it might have, you know what I mean? But yeah.
What's crazy about this is that I thought it was a joke. I didn't think that Netflix and 50 Cent were really going to collaborate to come out with a documentary about Diddy.
You can't continue to keep hurting people and nothing ever happens. Just a matter of time.
This is so much bigger than beef at this point. This is not beef. This is a lifelong vengeance between the going back and forth about baby mamas and now a documentary. Oh my God. And I'm not going to lie, I'm locked in. I want to see it. I actually want to know who's participating in this documentary, who's going to be there. But this is real because both 50 Cent and Netflix have confirmed it. It's happening on December 2nd. I'm actually kind of surprised that Diddy's team wasn't able to put a stop to this because I know he hates this. I thought they would have been able to stop this from happening, but if it's up, it's stuck. And 50 Cent, he always gonna troll Diddy.
See? Even he said it. What's crazy is that he thought it was a joke, like a lot of us thought. And you know what I love about 50 Cent? He's so calculated. He's my cancer brother. Shout out to him. We are very calculated people. But I love when he dropped it. He didn't drop it. He announced it when he first got arrested. He could have dropped it as soon as he got sentenced. But the fact that he's dropped it, around the holidays where people have got more time to, stay at home, watch it. And like I said, this ain't a beef. Like this is real life. I'm sure 50 wants us to know the truth anyway. Like a lot of devious and demonic things go down in the music industry. And again, when 50 first came out, like P Diddy tried to offer him, like let me take you shopping, let's go out. And 50's just like, absolutely not. But some guys will fall for that. You know what I mean? And yeah, P Diddy took his baby mother. Like it's like any guy that's popping or any rapper or I don't know. This is what he's just weird. Like I might have to do a list. He's taken so many people's girlfriends, baby mothers, exes. Cassie, he stole Cassie from the guy that she was with, and it's just like every woman he's been linked to. I think the only woman he didn't take was J Lo, but I'm sure I remember J Lo, one of J Lo ex's husbands, because she's got many. I'm sure he came out and was like, "Oh, you was fucking with Puff while we were married." So it's just like but it seems like every girl that he's taken them from someone that's more, you know what I mean, more relevant than him or who's more popping or the people love. Because this guy again, he's just always in the music video. He can't dance, he can't sing, he can't rap. You know what I mean? And this is why I rate DJ Khaled because DJ Khaled just DJs and produce. You know what I mean? He just another one. That's the most you'll get out of DJ Khaled, but not dancing and just doing the most in the videos. You know what I mean? But jeez, watch this documentary. It's a must watch.
Hello, I just got done watching the Diddy documentary, and I have notes. Note number 1, we as a society need to lock his mother up. Janice Combs, she needs to be locked up immediately. If you had the spawn of that came out of your coochie, you need to be under the jail. Because it's you. It's something with you. 2, every woman that Diddy wanted was with another man. He was in the business of taking women from them. It just was like a big spawn of jealousy. And then he also wanted to be with the men. Suge Knight, he took his girl Craig Mack, all of them. He took everybody, girl. Al B. Sure. The only one he didn't take, Andre Harrell. Because Andre what? Never had a girl. Catch it? Number 3, did y'all know that A&R stood for Artist and Repertoire? Me neither. Number 4, Justin is definitely Wolf's son. That's not Diddy's child. That baby looked like that bodyguard. If you know, you know. Number 5, I love a Cancer man. I'm a Scorpio though, so like I don't love to be with them romantically, but platonically, I really enjoy them because they're very petty. Follow me. 50 Cent is a Cancer. So for him to purchase the videographer's footage that Diddy hired Diddy so that he can create this documentary was absolute the pettiest genius I've ever seen. 10 out of 10 for me. He did that for sure. Love that so bad. Number 6, when y'all watch it, I want y'all to look for the micro movements. Things like when he's saying a positive or negative statement, if his head is nodding in the opposite direction. For example, if he says, "No, I had nothing to do with Pac's murder," or "Yes, I loved her so much." Those are what I want y'all to take a look. When y'all watch them first 1 through 3 episodes, just let me know when you notice the micro movements. And I just want y'all to put that in your little back pocket as something that y'all can remember when people are lying to y'all. I think the most important one for number 7 is that Diddy killed everybody. Diddy is guilty. He killed everybody. He killed Biggie. He killed Heavy D. He tried to kill Al Sure. He killed Kim. He has killed everybody, y'all. He's guilty on all accounts. 50 months is not enough for that man. Honestly, he needs to put down. So I was really younger when Pac was killed and when Biggie was killed. I do remember it coming on the box. Shout out to my millennials. Y'all know what the box is when it would come on the screen and y'all would pay to watch a music video. Anyway, when you was watching the box, it came on the bottom screen. It was like, rapper Biggie, rapper Tupac has been killed. I remember that. What I don't remember is them talking about all the events really leading up to it and like the theory around them being legitimately murdered. That's what I don't recall. That was made clear to me. Clear in today's documentary. Thank you, 50. You did your big one. Speaking of murdering people, how diabolical you have to be skipping and bopping on the stage months after you got your friend killed. Talking about I be missing you. He is insane. I know this may be a little funny, Kiki, but I'm actually scared. We stopped on episode 3. I have one more episode to go, but we had to stop. I'm overstimulated. I done learned too much in such a small amount of time. I have so many questions. And the last one, y'all, is that one of the prostitutes that they would call was on a documentary. I don't remember that man's name. He said that they would call him every March 9th. You know what happened on March 9th? It's Biggie's death anniversary. And they would call him every March 9th he remembered that specific. He thought that was very fucking weird. It would be like an ode to Biggie in some weird way. One day y'all will believe me when I say Scorpio men are not. Most of them are not. It's like 99.92% of them are not to be out in the wilderness. What I got so far, it's crazy. I just wanted to share with y'all because I had to get it off my chest. I took notes. So let me know if you watch it. Thanks.
Big ups to her, and I should have wrote a list, but I agree with everything she said. Everything's alleged over here. Like her, I'm a 90s baby, so you know when all this went down, I was only like 5 years old. So you know what I mean. But everything's alleged. But watching that documentary and hearing people's experience and people that were around at that time, yeah, anyone that got in his way or you didn't do what he said, he would get rid of you. Even Heavy D, shout out to Heavy D, rest in peace. I feel like he had something to do with that. I just feel like when it came to Puffy, yeah, everyone around him, it would be like just random stuff like pneumonia. Obviously, I know Heavy D was big, you know, heart attacks. It was just like random, like, you know what I mean? And they would just die out of nowhere. It's weird. I feel like no one that's own a record label has had so many people pass away than Bad Boy. I'm gonna do a quick list quickly. So let me just go. Black Rob, obviously Biggie, Craig Mack. I feel like there's more, but they're the top three that come to mind right now. But yeah, a lot of people did duck out when things were just getting really hot and heat. Like the Locks, they wanted to get off Bad Boy for time. So a lot of artists did also jump ship. You know, Mace, he went into being uh, a priest kind of thing, and now he's got his like YouTube podcast with Cameron. But no, I agree. If someone got in his way, he would get them whacked, like allegedly. Oh yeah, Kim Porter. I know she wasn't on Bad Boy, but again, she's still around and Kim Porter's gone. I'll be sure almost died. So yeah, I agree with what she said. He had some again. I think his was Kim Porter was pneumonia. I'm sure I'll be sure was pneumonia. And even he came out and then he backpedaled. He came out and was like, "Yo, Puffy's trying to kill me." The fact that he took Craig Mack's girl, I think the only girl I can say he never took was Faith Evans. You know what I mean? He didn't wanna. He knew not to mess with that because she was the first lady of Bad Boy. But apart from that, yeah, any person he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna take that just because he could. And it does all stem back from his upbringing. His mum spoiled him because he lost his dad, only son. Mum spoilt him rotten. He did go to a private Catholic school, but he did get bullied, like, from the hood that they lived in and whatnot. He did get bullied, mainly by girls. So again, he wasn't fly growing up. He only got fly once he became a part of, you know what I mean, having this record label and, artist. For New York, at one point, the night late midnight is because Biggie did die mid. So yeah, the night is going into the 2000s. He had New York, the music scene on lock. Craig Mack was first with Flavor in Your Ear, Biggie, Big Papa, Mace, because sadly then Biggie did die. And then we had Mace. And then I would say Shine came in after, the 2000s. He just kept revamping himself. And then when the music just like wasn't hitting as much, then he went into making a band and they did show that. I want to say that was in the third episode. But I agree with what she said. Like, listen, I wish I would have took down notes. I should have came with my notes, but it's just a lot. But yeah, Jay-Z, Rockefeller, not a lot of people on that label have passed. There's so many like, so death, like Death Row and then the aftermath for Dr. Dre. Why is a lot of that artists still alive? But when it comes to Bad Boy, there's so many Bad Boy members or were on Bad Boy that have sadly passed at young ages. And what I took from this documentary more than anything is that when Biggie got shot, he was actually meant to be in London. He was meant to be here in the UK. That's heartbreaking. But Puffy was like, nah, I need you to stay in LA. I need you to be here. We need to do this party. He was going to be the first on the Bad Boy record label to come to the UK, talk to the UK press. And I think that would have been huge for his career. I'm sorry, the way Biggie died is giving a huge setup. And he renegotiated his contract with him, I want to say like a week before he got taken out. And when he did die, Puffy and his partner that he built Bad Boy with, he was like, let's change it before we show his wife at the time, Faith, and his mom. And he was like, no. So then he fired him because he only had 25% stake in Bad Boy, where he obviously had the 75. Like, listen, when I say the rabbit hole goes deep, it's crazy. But shout out to her, and I agree with everything she said. Like, this guy's pure evil.
So far, my biggest takeaway from this Diddy documentary is the most dangerous person you will ever meet is an insecure man. Because every single action that Diddy did that hurt somebody stemmed from his insecurity. And it is his childhood insecurity that stayed with him his whole life. And with him not dealing with that, it bred greed and jealousy within himself. He was envious of all the other people around him that he felt like he was better than. And he felt like he deserved their spot. And when he eventually did earn his place in the world, and people saw him for what he was as far as like having his talent, he still was envious and greedy. And it's so crazy because like when you're dealing with an insecure man that has as much greed and pride as Diddy does, nothing is ever enough for him. Diddy could have easily champion himself off of being the producer that's super forward thinking. Even though he's not musically talented, he can curate a vibe and he has a great ear for music. Diddy has one of the best ears for music. You know what I'm saying? As far as like in not even just hip hop, but like music in general. Diddy is extremely talented in his own way, but since he's not talented in the way that he thinks is normal and other people think is like normal, he doesn't feel like it's enough. He has to take from other people. He has to take other people's spots. And that's why you see him constantly trying to steal side pieces from dudes, constantly trying to force himself onto like his artist platforms and trying to make himself the centerpiece. And this is exactly what happens whenever you live under patriarchy and you're forced into a certain role that you can't uphold. I talk about this shit all the time, bro. And the part that really drove that point home for me was whenever they were talking about how Diddy was pretty much a soft kid. You know what I'm saying? He was getting his ass kicked all the time. And his mom was beating the hell out of him. And she did it to make him a stronger man. But whenever your core basis is to be soft and you're faced with extreme violence and you shrink back into yourself as a little boy, right? And your mother's forcing traditional masculinity onto you through violence and punishment, this is the result, bro. You grow up to be an insecure man that's constantly overcompensating to force himself into being the type of man that they think that they should be instead of just being the man that they want to be. You know what I'm saying? You're constantly overcompensating because deep down, you know that you're still that scared little boy, that soft little boy. And you feel like if you let your guard down and if you let this facade of traditional masculinity slip, everybody's going to see you for what you really are.
Yeah, shout out to him. And I agree. Again, this is why his mom needs to be thrown in jail. Like he stated, he used to get whooped on, not just by his mom, but, get teased, get bullied by people in the hood. Not everyone's going to be a fighter. Not everyone's about that life. And P. Diddy's one of them. And instead of him, obviously, once he was welfare, instead of him getting therapy, he took it out on his artists, on people, dominating them, having that control. Like when you see him in this like documentary and he's going off and he's shouting at people and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And da 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 da. And it's just like, and then even at certain points, he really thought he's like, "I'm God's son, like I'm Jesus Christ." He did that whole video with Nas, "You Can Hate Me Now," him being, crucified and all that. And I think that was after the whole situation with J Lo and Shine and the whole, shooting that woman in her face allegedly. But yeah, I agree with him. An insecure man, and this is what I mean. We all go through things as children, but if you don't work on yourself and that self love, that self care, and get help, this is what happens, and this is why people say hurt people hurt people. It doesn't excuse it, you know what I mean? With this whole Love album, the last album he did, that was meant to be him, redefining himself and then putting that big huge tattoo on his back. I think it's like a Haitian, something to do with a Haitian culture. I think it's Black Mary, I think she's called. I'll put a picture here, but even just doing all that, and he's meant to be intertwined with himself, and he's apologizing and giving flowers to people he needs to give flowers to, and it's just like you still ain't shit. You claim you're sorry, but you're not sorry. I forgot to mention in the clip before when the woman was like in the documentary when the interview man's like, "Did you have anything to do with Tupac's murder?" And he's just literally he's stone cold, no emotion. His eyes are just like, "No, I didn't do anything." Kim Porter, you know what I mean? Like this body language is everything, and I clocked that when she was like, "Watch his body language when those tough questions." When Tupac got shot, I want to say this is 1995 when at the studio when he got shot 5 times and they're asking, "Did you have anything?" The body language does not lie. Now watching this documentary, yeah, Black Rob has a song, and Puffy, he be all in the videos, all over the music, and he's just bare ad libbing. And one of the rappers, can't remember his name. His name's Mark something. And he's like, what's he talking about? Because Diddy wasn't hood or street. And he's like, I can make you disappear. I can send you up to the angels. I can have this all handled and put 1 million on your head. And he's just like, what's he talking about? And lo and behold, years later, Keith D, who's a Crip and who was allegedly sent to kill Tupac by Puffy. That's what he said. He said, If I kill Tupac, he's gonna pay me 1 mil, and then he's laying this on a track on Black Rob's song. Never heard of this song before. I've never heard it, but the way they broke it all down, I was just like, wow. And for me, I believe Keith D from the jump, because why would he lie on Puffy? It would have made more sense for him to lie on Suge Knight, because there was rumors that Suge Knight set up. It's basically like Suge Knight set up Tupac and then Puffy set up Biggie. So from when Keith D was like, "Yo, Puffy paid me to get rid of Tupac," I believe him. Like, for me, he has no reason to lie. He's going down regardless because he pulled the trigger. But conspiracy, like, if Puffy is involved, he needs to go down too. So I believe Keith D. Obviously, that whole trial and everything, investigation is still going on. But yeah, I agree with everything he said.
The lesson to be learned here is don't ever, as a grown man, offer to take Curtis 50 Cent Jackson shopping ever in your motherfucking life. Because ain't no way this man did a whole 4-part documentary series for Netflix called Sean Combs The Reckoning for the fucking Diddler. I mean, I know he said he was gonna do it, but I didn't even fucking believe him, honestly. And y'all, this documentary is not just about the shit that happened with Cassie, no. This goes deep back into Diddy's fucking childhood, y'all. 50 took it all the way back to from when his father was unalive, from when he was a baby and his mama had him in like some chinchilla coats and shit, to when she was throwing them fucking parties in her house. That's where he got it from. All the way up into him working for Andre Harrell and him having that big basketball event because he was like this big party promoter or whatever, and 9 people were unalive, baby. Did y'all know about that? Because I didn't. They even brought up the unalivings of Biggie and Tupac, and yes, Diddy set that up based on what the fucking documentary said. Allegedly, Diddy put $1 million on Pac's head and only paid about half of it, right? Then they had Keefe D on some fucking tapes on there talking about the whole thing and how it happened, literally admitting to it. Now, allegedly, Diddy also has something to do with Biggie being unalive. Biggie did not want to come out here to LA when it was time to promote his fucking album, and it was planned for him to come out here for a couple of days and then go to the UK, go to London or whatever to promote over there, but fucking Diddy canceled his flight the day he was supposed to leave, and that was the day I think he got unalived, y'all. And I don't know how 50 got his hands on this footage of Diddy six days before he ended up in jail, but apparently Diddy hired a videographer when he came back to New York and spent that time wandering the fucking streets. The funniest part about that was him talking about, I gotta go take a bath after he done been out touching people's hands and shit. That was fucking hilarious. It was a good amount of people on the fucking documentary that were being interviewed. There was Kalima, Aubrey O'Day. They had fucking Albie Shore on there, y'all. So it was a lot of people on there being fucking interviewed, and I think it's really worth the watch. One thing's for certain, two things for sure. 50 Cent is gonna produce something good as fuck. Whether it's a TV show, documentary, movie, I don't give a fuck. The man is gonna do it. Say this though, bet no other grown man asked 50 Cent to ever take him shopping. He gonna hold on to that grudge for the rest of his motherfucking life and yours. So don't fucking do it, y'all. But go watch that motherfucking documentary on Netflix. It just came out. Sean Combs, The Reckoning, all right? Bye, TikTok!
Yeah, guys, you just heard that. And again, the sex parties that Diddy goes on to have later on in life, it stems from the parties that his mom used to throw. Like, yeah, she used to dress him up like a mini pimp, like he's a grown man in chinchillas and the furs. And it's just like, and you wonder the reason why he turned out the way he did. Now, I love that she spoke on, when all this going on, all going down before he got arrested, the investigation, he knew something was brewing. So my man goes back to Harlem, where he's from, and he's touching down. He's trying to get the black people on side because he's been living in Manhattan for all these years and Miami and all these LA, all these lavish places. So he's mostly been around white people. So he goes back to the hood from where he's usually from, and he's dabbing people down, he's hugging people. And he gets back into his car and he's like, yo, I need to bathe, I need to shower, I need to basically wash all the ghetto off, all the germs, because I've been touching too many people today. And it's just like, no, they need to go and sage and shower and bathe from touching you. You're the demonic one, not them. And this just goes to show how people will literally smile up in your face and go on like that down and they love you. And he's gassing people out. He's like, I got you. The guy didn't even drive off like a mile. Soon as he got in the car, he was like, "Yo, yeah, I need to shower. Like that water needs to be baking hot. I need to get all this off me, touching all these people in the hood." Excuse me, like talk about calling the kettle black. Like, really, the only person that's demonic right now and he's got all this bad juju on them is you, sir. So when he said that, when I say my mouth was open, I was like, wow. Not saying that you're not from the same place where they're from. And look at you now. It's gonna be very interesting when he comes out. It's like, who he gonna run to? Is he gonna still try and run in the same flock, Jay-Z and all them, the Rock Nation brunches? Or is he gonna try and go back to the hood? Like literally everyone just needs to leave this man in the dust for the weirdo that he is. Everyone needs to go back. You know, people are already clowning him, you know, no Diddy, the whole baby oil, like even that in the documentary, the cases of baby oil, like when a sex worker is looking at you funny and they do that for a job, that's telling. The sex worker was like, you know, can we have a break? Can we Diddy's like, no. You know, the sex worker, he's just very confused. They kept saving his semen, they kept putting it into cups, and he's like, yo, what are you doing with my semen? He would like, oh, like Cassie would drink it. She would look at when I say you can't make this up, it's this documentary is very sickening. Like it's crazy. From when I seen the sex worker shook, I didn't need to know anything else. Because again, a sex worker does this for a living. You're meant to be a rap mogul, a music. You know what I mean? He does have a good ear for music. I can't take that away from him. But the things that he wanted the sex worker to do in the bedroom, and he's just like, "Ain't you tired? Ain't you hurting? Like, cuss ain't your pom pom hurting?" Like, he was more shook of P Diddy and Cassie's ways than him being a sex. Like, you can't make this up. It's nuts.
Let me tell y'all something right now. That Diddy documentary didn't just make me emotional, it made me angry, like ancestral level angry. Because I finally realized the level of how much this man took from us. I have already been very vocal about disliking him and the things that he's done. Tupac, Biggie, women, employees, artists, our culture, our history, decades of silence and fear and cover up, all wrapped into a man that thought he was untouchable. You think I'm angry just because of the crimes? No, I'm angry because of the ripple. You know, like Tupac, Biggie, they weren't just rappers, they were the heartbeat of a generation. They were storytellers, visionaries, men who changed the world every time they dropped a track. And if what these people are saying is true, and it lines up with Keefe D and other people's stories, his ego was bigger than anything else, and that's what took them out. Diddy didn't just rob their fans, he robbed all of us. He robbed a culture of what it could have been. And now that this documentary is like dropping witness after witness, people collaborating, the stories of Keefe D's, the details, like suddenly everybody's talking. They're not protecting him anymore. This is what justice looks like when it's been waiting too long, when the truth finally stops being scared. And what pisses me off the most is how many lives were shattered while he was out here creating a brand and building an empire and walking carpets and throwing parties and acting like the world was his goddamn playground. All that power, money, and fame built on the backs of people he hurt and silenced and intimidated and erased and misused their trust. So yes, I want justice. I want justice for Pac. I want justice for Biggie and for the women and the men that he has abused. For the people behind the scenes, for the artists who's lost their careers, for everyone whose life was twisted behind the scenes while we were all distracted by this shiny image of him. And if these charges come the way I think they will, just know Karma didn't lose his address. It was just waiting for the right documentary. And I think that part of why this documentary dropped is to cause public pressure to get justice. I'll do a better recap, but this is my instant thoughts after watching it.
Oh, guys, let's take a minute. That was a lot, but she spoke facts. Watching that documentary, and I think this was the end of the episode 2. If what people are saying in this documentary and Keefe D is heartbreaking, like she said, till today, Biggie and Pac, they're up there. If you give your top 5, you have to mention one of them. Their story and their lives were cut so short. They were so young. So, you know what I mean? Like, we're still hurting for the loss of them till today. And if this results of him plotting, scheming, like this all goes back to him, nah, he needs to be dealt with, you know what I mean? It's sad, it's heartbreaking, and I agree with her 100. Now, watching this documentary, what I found out, so in Las Vegas, after watching the Tyson fight, he beat up Keefe D's nephew. So that set it all off, you know what I mean? The Crips were in town, obviously Suge Knights of Blood. That kind of set it off. So then Keefe D allegedly rang Puff and was like, yo, should we do it tonight? Like, I've got a good reason to do it because he just beat up my nephew. Finding out, watching this documentary, I found out that Keefe D's nephew died 2 years after Tupac. So it was literally back to back. Tupac died, Biggie died, and then Keefe D's nephew died. It's crazy. There's so many lives again. He's shattered so many lives. He's messed up so many people. And even with Tupac getting killed, because Craig Mack was thinking to go to Death Row East. Never knew there was a Death Row East, so I found out that. But after what happened to Tupac, even Craig Mack know, yo, Diddy had something to do with that. Like he didn't know, but he knew. And after that, because he was okay with Suge, Craig Mack was okay with Suge, but after that, he cut all ties with Suge. It's crazy. And what I find really interesting with this, so Tupac passed after watching the Tyson fight, and Tyson's best friend slash security guard allegedly had something to do with 50 Cent getting shot up. And he shot up 50 Cent, and then like a week later, he got shot up and he died because he did a whole dedication to him. He did a fight and he dedicated it to him. So I just think they're just all connected. It's weird, you know what I mean? Tupac watching Tyson, and then, many years later, 50 Cent blows up from being shot 5 or 9 times, because people are saying it's not 9 times. Either way, he was shot up by Tyson's friend. Like, it's just weird. Like, so many lives have been shattered, so many people have passed. Until today, we're still like feeling the effects of it again. I was only 5 when this all went down, you know what I mean? I was only a child, and look, me as a grown adult speaking on it now, it still hurts. Just how young they were. Watching them, they look like girls, especially Biggie, because he was big, the suits, the cane, like he looked older than what he was. And then I found out watching this, Life After Death, Biggie's album, it actually wasn't called that until after he died, because obviously it didn't get proper push until after he died. And what the woman mentioned before, Diddy doing the Diddy bop, and I'll be missing you, just doing the most on stage. It's like you killed that man, allegedly. You took, what I mean? Faith was pregnant at the time. You knew he had a kid on the way. You already had a kid previously. The world, sky's the limit. That's one of my favorite songs from Biggie. Like, the world was literally his oyster. He was big, but he was gonna go huge. That's why he renegotiated his contract. The fact that you got him whacked, it is heartbreaking. And if you know anything about the musical industry, artists are worth more dead than alive. Michael Jackson is still the most gross musical artist of our time, and he's been dead. What did he? I'm sure he died, like, was it 2006, 2007? Like, he's been, he's passed away for a long time now, and he's still the number one highest gross artist. I know for a long time Elvis Presley was, and he's been dead for a long. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, they're actually worth more when they've passed than when they're alive. It's not. So yeah. As much as he's like, oh, I'm looking after Faith, I'm watching over his mom and all that, it's just like, nah. And again, like Tupac and like myself, Biggie's mom really never liked Puff, like, from the beginning. Like, she liked that he took Biggie out of the whole drugs and slinging dope, but there was just something there she never liked about him. And now we see why. And rest in peace to Miss Wallace. It was weird seeing her featured in the documentary, but she's no longer here. Afeni Shakur. Like, it's just sad that so many people, like, how can the two biggest rappers at that time in the 90s and still till today, how have they not got no one for their murders? Like, I'll never get over that. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Hopefully we can get Keefe D for Tupac, but then it's like, well, who killed Biggie then? Like,
There's 3 takeaways that I got after watching the 50 Cent documentary about P. Diddy. One is, I did not believe that he got Biggie and Pac murked until I watched it. He did that. He definitely did that. Plus more. Second one is, he needs to go to prison a little bit longer. And I feel like he did a lot more than what they're showing. And third, Diddy got vengeance on a lot of people, except 50 Cent. You tried that fun boy stuff on the wrong one, Diddy. Oh man, I like 50 Cent a lot more now. And if you have not read or listened to this audiobook, go do it now. So many gems.
yeah, shout out to that man. I like his short and sweet, straight to the point. I agree. People were umming and ahhing before with the whole Biggie and Pac, but this documentary just certified it. Like, no, he did that ish. And again, Keefe D, we're hearing recordings that we've never heard before. For me, why does Keefe D have to lie on Puff? He could lie on anyone in the music industry. Why would he lie on Puff? And there is ties to Keefe D. Like, there's pictures of them together with his people that are involved in the Crip. So, you know what I mean? If it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. Like, you know what I mean? All the evidence is there. But, you know what I mean? He's a little snake. So he's moved, because it wasn't through him. It was from some guy called Martin. I can't remember his first name. When I heard the Martin, I was like, ooh, not him. He could be my relative. But yeah, You know, people that delegate, you know, people that have power, people on top, they know to never get caught up in the, you know what I mean? They have people do the dirty work for them, so that's what it's given. Puff was out there and he was just sending out orders and paying people under the table. But I agree with him. People have and ahhing, and some people are like, oh no, why would he want to kill Biggie? Watch this documentary and you know why. If you know how the music industry is, you'll know why. Because Biggie is worth more to him dead than alive. He negotiated his contract before he died. Like, you know what I mean? The people on the top, even Crack Mac, with Flavor in Your Ear, biggest tune, number one. His ex-wife was in the documentary. She said, "Me and Craig, like we were broke. How can he have the number one?" And shout out to TLC, they've spoke on this. They had the number one album, the number one. They had no money because their manager was stealing from them. I'm telling you, if you know anything about the music industry, you know why artists are worth more while they're dead than being alive. But I agree with him. But yeah, 50 Cent, too calculated. Shout out to my cancer brother, 50 Cent. But yeah, he had a one up on pretty much all the guys that were in Bad Boy and, you know, other people like I'll Be Sure, Heavy D. But the one person he couldn't get up under is 50 Cent. Now, he kind of did because he did take 50 Cent's baby mother. And I feel like 50 Cent was in love. I think her name's Daphne, the Malaysian babe. And that really hurt 50. I think 50 was mad about her. And ever since then, 50's just had a vendetta to Puffy. Like,
Diddy's lawyers sent a cease and desist letter to Netflix to stop the Diddy documentary from airing, and it's not working, and I'm about to tell you why. Go ahead and follow this page. I'm about to break something down. Sean Combs and all his money cannot stop the 50 Cent produced Sean Combs The Reckoning documentary from airing on Netflix. As a TV producer and TV writer, I want to tell you how Sean Combs can say the footage is quote unquote stolen, and 50 Cent and Netflix can say not quite. In the entertainment industry, people often hire videographers with the intention of maybe doing a video of some sort, maybe doing a documentary. And what happens is you enter into an agreement and you say, hey, I'm going to follow you, for example, for 14 days. You're going to pay me X amount of money. Okay. Well, what happens is when the end of those 14 days happens and you go to turn in your footage, the person who has quote unquote hired you a lot of times goes missing, meaning that they're telling you to call the finance person to get the check, call this and that person to get the check. And before you know it, you have this footage and now you're trying to get your money for your services and nobody's returning your call. And so what happens is at some point after that, a light goes off in your head and you say, well, wait, I have footage. If I want to be made whole, I can sell this footage to anybody. I'm not saying that this is what happened, but I'm saying this is what could have happened. Okay. And so what happens is a videographer who now has footage, because that first agreement is null and void because nobody has paid the videographer. Okay. And so that person now sells it to the next person. And in this case, it could have been literally selling it to 50 Cent. And to this, I say, honor your contracts. If you hire somebody, pay them, because this is exactly how footage can come back and bite you in the butt. All right, y'all, that's one to grow on. Let me know what you think. Having the right mindset will prevent somebody from making this type of blunder. If you're interested in working on your mindset, please check out my free mindset guide. The link is in the bio.
yeah, guys, so this is how 50's been able to create this because he didn't pay his workers. And there's so many people in this documentary like, yeah, Puff never paid me, never paid me. Even the Love album, the last album he's done recently, the guy that produced it, shout out to him, he was featured in it and he actually got abused and drugged by him, allegedly. Didn't pay him, had him running around like, call this person, call that person, I'll have the money sent over to you tomorrow. You know, all the excuses. And for me, there's nothing worse than a person that's successful or famous who don't pay their people. Listen, I know people that know, like footballers, rappers here in Manchester, they say they are their worst clients. If they're a barber, a masseuse, a nail, eyelash tech, they say they are the worst people because they've got the funds, They just feel entitled because they've got that power, they've got the fame, they feel like they don't have to pay. So when I heard that he wasn't paying all these people, I knew it was true because I know people that have done stuff for famous people and they're like, didn't pay them. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So this is what I mean. If you shit on the small people, the tables turn. So when an opportunity comes, so when 50 went around knocking, person had all these videos, all these, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, to the highest bidder. You know what? The person that gave it probably didn't even charge 50 that much because they just would have been grateful to put this information out there. You know what I mean? Especially now he's only doing 50 months. But I agree with her, like, pay, do people right, man, and stop, you know what I mean, cutting corners. Like, oh, he's just horrible. You know, when someone's, I was just watching, like, this guy is disgusting, man. He's just a horrible man. Financially, you know what I mean? Just the way he treats people, just shits on people. Oh, he's horrible.
I would thank Diddy for asking 50 Cent if he could take him on a shopping spree, because I feel like if he did not ask that man that question or insinuate that, then 50 Cent would not have been the executive producer of the Diddy documentary, and we wouldn't have got this amazing piece of work. Like, 50 Cent is easily going to go down as one of the best storytellers of this time. Sean Combs' The Reckoning was such an amazing docuseries. My favorite person that was in the documentary was Mark Curry. They literally asked that man, what do you think about Diddy's skills when it comes to rapping? He was like, he sucks. That man didn't laugh or chuckle. Like, he said that with certainty very quickly. He was even like, throughout the thing when Diddy was like, yeah, we finna go run up in that boy's house, so we finna put a hurt, whatever it was. He was talking about how he about to go, like, you know, run up on somebody. Mark was like, okay, bet. I'm gonna be at the studio working on these bars while y'all do that. And when y'all come back, I'm gonna be here working too. Leave me out of it. The most interesting part, though, was episode 4, like when the 2 jurors got up there and started talking, and both of them, well, the woman at least, was talking about how Capricorn Clark was, we just didn't believe her. Like, she seemed very emotional, like maybe her emotions got in the way, and I was like, Capricorn, girl, they calling you a liar, girl. That's what they saying about you. They calling you a liar. Definitely go watch it on Netflix. Go watch the documentary.
Yeah, shout out to her, and I agree. My favorite person that they spoke to was Mark Corey. He did not hold back. I didn't know how much his pen game was pushed. Again, Diddy took all the credit. He wrote a lot. He wrote a lot for him, mainly, you know, when Diddy branched off and started doing, you know, dropping his own singles. He wrote a lot for Diddy. And again, that song, that Black Rob song that I spoke on before, he was featured on that. And then when Diddy was saying all these, you know, I'll put a mill on your head, he was looking like, huh? Like, what? He was so confused. He's like, what's he on about? Like, you ain't ever, you know what I mean? You're not street, you're not hood. Like, what are you talking about? So, again, I've never heard of that Black Rob song before. So, hearing it now, I'm gobsmacked. Because, you know, Diddy be all in the videos, doing all the ad libs, just chatting shit as usual. But that stuck out to Mark Corey. He was just like, what's he on about? You know what I mean? He's usually, you know, we gonna party, we the best, you know what I mean? Put a mill on your head, I'll send you up into the sky with the angels, I'll wipe your family out. Huh? Child. But yeah, not him saying, yeah, we're gonna go over here, we're gonna do this to these people. Mark Curry's like, I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna push my pen because this is what you pay me for, even though you didn't pay him. He didn't hold back. I loved him. He was giving it raw, uncut. Shout out to him and everyone that told their truth in there, like, big ups to them.
The Diddy documentary really highlights the fact that we in the black community have a huge boy mom issue. And if even half of the things are true that the people were alleging in there, then it really just goes to show that all this stuff starts at home. This isn't an opportunity for you to dunk on single black moms because it's not all of them that be doing this. But there are a lot in our community that act the same way and try to bring their sons up in the same way as Diddy's mother did. When Joy's mama wrote to Diddy's mama and said, hey, your son did something very heinous to my daughter, she ignored it. And there's so many black moms out there, and just moms in general, that would do the same thing. Just completely disregard what the other person's saying because my son wouldn't do that. My son wouldn't do that, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, for black moms, it's understandable because it's like they want to protect their sons from the world because they know that the world's going to be super hateful towards them. But when your son is out there doing dirt, you can't protect them. You shouldn't protect them. And this is exactly why Baby Boy is one of my favorite hood films, because it's all about this. It's all about boy moms letting their sons be immature and not face any kind of consequences for their actions. And the more men out there that are raised by mothers like these, the worse society's going to be. And in some cases with single moms, they try to overcompensate with toxic masculinity because there's no man in the house, right? To teach the boy how to be a man. And this will lead to situations like Diddy, if anything that in this documentary is true, right? And it's unfortunate, bro, because these women become super perpetuators of patriarchy, and due to like the tendencies that they have, because they most of the time it relies on like violence and beating the kids, right? Whenever they don't perform masculinity in the way that they see fit. You know what I'm saying? And when you're, like they said it in the documentary, whenever you're raising a child on pain rather than love, the results are fucking terrible.
Yeah, shout out to him, and I agree. Even in my family, I see a lot of single mothers. You know what I mean? No matter what, their son can do no wrong in their eyes. So again, Diddy's mama needs to be locked up just like him. Obviously, you know, when you're a single mother, especially being a black woman, you do the best you can do in it. But yeah, she spoiled him rotten. She did beat him and whatnot, but she did spoil him rotten to make up of his dad's, you know, passing. And it happens a lot. And then the fact that a female came to her and was like, yo, your son did X, Y, and Z, and she didn't believe her, or she didn't check her son and hold him accountable. This is why hurt people hurt people. This is why, you know what I mean? If he could get away with that at a young age, if she would have nipped that in the bud, I don't know, maybe took him down to the police station, he could have been a different guy. But because he got away with that, this is where he is now. At his big age, getting locked up for 50 months. And it's mad because he's got so many daughters. He's got the twins, he's got Chance, and he's got the little one. He's got 4 daughters, 3 sons, well, allegedly, because I agree with that woman before. Um, his first son does not look anything like him. He looks like the bodyguard, so I agree with that. I've always looked at him, and I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Obviously, Quincy's adopted, so you know what I mean. We get that. Christian, he just seems like his actual son. He's a carbon copy of his dad. The first one, no. I know he does look like his mum, but still, I literally see nothing of Puffy in him. You know what I mean? At least with his daughter, like I see a bit of him in them, but with his first son, nothing. But yeah, but that's it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you've watched the documentary, and if you haven't, it's a must watch. Watch it now, because I do have a feeling it won't be on Netflix for long, so do watch it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching this video, and make sure you like and share it up. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share. Stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.